All right, so this is the part of the show where we give you an idea of stories that perhaps won't be on your front pages, but are certainly worth knowing about. The Eastern Cape Health Department's recent relaunch of ambulance scooters and motorcycles has been mocked and ridiculed, and social media users have also taken their jabs. As a start, take a look at this. Right, it's important to also add that the music is not from us. It's certainly some of the tunes that have been added on social media. Now, those of you old enough will definitely recognize that tune, and those of you wise enough will know it's not the reincarnation of the popular series Velapi. Now, this is the ambulance motorcycle, and according to the health minister, these multi-purpose units are extremely versatile and can transport patients or deliver medication to rural communities. So the question is just how effective will these ambulances be as a feeder to an already stretched emergency services? Well, to help us unpack some of these issues and the idea of using EMS motorcycles, as you can see, we're joined by Dr. Jo Barnes, and she's an epidemiologist at the University of Stellenbosch. Doc, thanks very much for your time and welcome to the AM Report. So in many cultures, you know, when you're ridiculed and sometimes you're given a nickname, it's usually a sign that, you know, the community has started to embrace you as one of their own. From where you're standing or sitting, perhaps, do you get a sense that, you know, communities are responding positively to this new innovation?
Good morning. I'm in two minds about the answer to your question, because I think some of the members of the community see this as a lesser service, not as, call it, luxurious or effective as they would have hoped. Now, the Eastern Cape has to be commended for their innovative solution. They have huge problems in the province. And these motorcycles may be able to reach areas where they do not have the ambulance numbers, they don't have an ambulance to dispatch, and also where it is sometimes difficult to reach. So yes, I am hoping that it would help, but I have to add a note there for you to say that this is just one link of the chain of serving people, and I'm very worried about the fact that the other links in the chain are failing. So if you transport patients to a hospital facility and the hospital is unable to treat those patients or receive them, then you end up causing more problems than you try to solve in the first place.
Absolutely. And of course, there are shortcomings, Doc. I think we'll get into that in just a moment. But surely there's something to be said about doing something, right? Even though perhaps the intervention in and of itself doesn't go the whole way. I mean, do you envision a moment where perhaps a refined version of what we're seeing now is rolled out in the rest of the country?
Let's be honest, every little bit helps. And we are in such a crisis situation at the moment that I would hate to think that there are people very sick or even passing away because they could not reach health services. I'm just hoping that the authorities will also do the same innovations with the services at the other end when they receive the patients, because particularly the Eastern Cape, there are large numbers admitted by their own spokesperson in the last week, large numbers of treatment facilities where the staff walked off. The place is closed because there's not proper protective equipment for them. So I'm just trying to inspire the authorities to not just do the one half and leave the other half.
Absolutely. And as they do that, of course, it's important to also mention, I guess, some of the ways through which there are shortcomings. One of them being a patient has to be seated up straight in order to be able to use that, not to mention that it doesn't appear it's effective during adverse weather conditions like heavy rains and things like that. Your thoughts on some of those issues?
I believe that the patients can be put flat on their back. It can flip back, but it is still there are numbers of patients you can't transport like that. People with spinal injuries, people who the body can't be jolted over the road, or something, with brain injuries, all sorts of problems like that. And there's obviously no staff attending like you have in the back of the ambulance. You can have paramedics attending to the person while in this transport. So it will be for the more lightly injured, if we're talking about injuries, or people who can survive on their own for the journey. But it will take a load off some of the ambulances, and I do believe, especially in the Eastern Cape, they're chronically short of operational ambulances. So it certainly will help bridge a gap, if I can put it like that. It's just that we would hate to transport a patient all that way and find him lying in the queue for hours while there are no staff or facilities or drugs or to attend to them. So again, I would like to see the Eastern Cape do much more than they're doing at the moment to increase the whole service, everything that they have.
It's a good point, and one well made. Let me thank you for your time. Certainly appreciate your insights. That there is Dr. Joe Barnes, who's an epidemiologist with the University of Stellenbosch, giving us, I guess, a bit of a sober and balanced reflection on this new innovation. It's welcomed, but certainly doesn't go the whole way. Excuse the pun.